Peace, family. We should be live right now. What's going on, family? What's going on? I'm with the brother once again, Rod Hayes. All right, welcome back to the platform, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Indeed, family. I want to make sure you can hear me before we get started. Shout out to the family in the building. We already almost at 200. A lot of y'all was waiting here. I appreciate it. I appreciate your patience, and make sure you hit the like button. That's real important when we live stream. That you hit the like button. It helps other people discover the live stream. So I definitely want all of y'all to hit the like button. Whoever's in here. All right. I'm gonna have a great show tonight. Before we get started, we get to a few commercials, and then we're gonna get started, family. All right.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to give thanks to my brother King Simon out there, one of the best numerologists in the world. Text him 347-496-1022. The brother also has a course on udemy.com. If you are interested in introductory course on numerology, you can hit that brother up right there on that website. Also, family, a lot of workshops happening over at blackmagicuniversity.com. Make sure you go over there and check them out. These are life-changing workshops. We got plenty of testimonials to prove it. And I advise all of you to get up on game over there at blackmagicuniversity.com. All right, so with that being said, let me make sure all of y'all okay in the chat. Helen, Devon, Dana Kennedy, Papa Gun, Blockchain Monkeys. He's a regular. I see you all the time, Blockchain Monkeys. All right, who else? Empress, Noble Royalty. I'm looking to see if I see some regulars. Barbara Saunders. Barbara is a regular. Shout out to Barbara for always tuning in. I recognize that name. Yeah, let's get started. My brother Rod Hayes, man, I appreciate you coming on again. Like I said, you out there, you lining, you typing your name on YouTube. You all over the place, man. They got you all over. Do you have your own YouTube channel yet, or you didn't create one?
I never created one. I just told the people that was listening to me if they seen something they liked that I said, clip it out, put it on YouTube. Cause I have a channel, but
Mm,
you need so many before you can go live on there. And
right.
my computer that I would have been moving all my videos with went down. So
Okay, okay. Well, it's all good. You here right now. So I'm glad you're here. Like I said, to start out with, my brother, we just passed an important day. I seen all the people in the spiritual community talk about it. 22222. I've heard I had a sister recently, a queen, the Oracle, Sister Myra recently talk about this big mama energy, and I also hear you talking about it. So could you just elaborate from your perspective on what exactly is this big mama energy that's hitting the planet heavy at this time? Please, my brother.
all right. So in our ancient traditions, no matter which one of our organic cultures you go to,
Mm-hmm.
we always been matriarchal.
Yes.
Okay, and this matriarch energy that goes through the women,
Mm.
right? It's the same energy of creation. It's the energy that holds the information of every aspect of creation. So from that energy, we call that big mama energy prime creator energy, right? So we call her big mama based on in the galactic star clock. So if you pull up the calendar from the ceiling in the Parthenon, Isis, I think it is, over in Egypt, you see a star map, has what they call zoo types on it. And the zoo type that controls it all from the center is what we call Big Mama or Ta'ert or Tawaret. But in the different cultures, she have a different name. But the energy is the same. So, like when we see in our family the matriarch in the family, we call her Big Mama, we call her Mud Dear, Nana, and she like pretty much is the glue that always hold family together. Even when they don't get along with each other, they don't give each other shit at her house. So that's the Big Mama energy we talking about. And as above, so below, it plays out in the human family the same way it play out on the stars.
Indeed, indeed. Why do you think other cultures, or maybe they do, don't seem to have a big mama like the black community? Like the black community is big on big mama. Is that? Do you see that?
Believe it or not, all of the organic cultures
Mm-hmm.
big on Big Mama,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in modern Indo-European culture, what we call the Pale Nations of Europe,
Mm-hmm.
they Big Mama is the old crone witch, the wick they call her the Wicked Witch because she mean. Everybody in every family know Big Mama mean as hell,
Mm-hmm.
and she don't mean no harm,
Mm-hmm.
and she ain't gonna tell you nothing wrong. But you
Mm-hmm.
got to put up with her sharp ass tongue, right? And telling you the truth that you don't want to hear,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we all got a big mama, but in different cultures, she's expressed according to the organic culture of the geography,
Mm-hmm.
right? In China, she's the old Asian lady with the big ass cane.
Ah, right, 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 right.
Right. So in
Yeah.
Asia, they say she who carries big stick carry big weight.
Yes,
She's
yes.
big mama.
Yeah.
Same energy,
Same energy.
right? So
Mm.
it's the same in Australia. They're matriarchal people, and they've been fighting colonialism to hold their matriarchy together,
Mm.
right? So that's why you have the ones who follow the old ways live away from the villages and the cities where they populate with patriarchy. It's repulsive to the organic people of the land to masculinize and anthropomorphize prime creator as a masculine figure. And the culture expresses it and we fight it. And this is what makes us rebel against religion or embrace religion,
Mm. Mm.
right? So you either fight it and submit and embrace it, or you fight it and don't submit and rebel against it,
Mm.
right? So it's two poles, two different opposites. But you ain't gonna
Mm.
never find your way out the trap until you can stand in the middle unbiased.
Mm. Mm.
Soon as you say somebody religion, race, skin color, geographical origin influences the way you think, you
Mm.
don't think like a god no more.
Mm.
None of that should influence how you think about people. You should make your own decision based on your own life experience,
Facts.
right? So
Facts.
Nation of Islam say the white man the devil. Coming to find out the white man ain't even white. And
Mm.
they infiltrated the Nation of Islam, them goddamn devils. So what happened? They tore it down and Farrakhan had to rebuild it. Somebody said in one of my comments, they said Farrakhan was fake because he been around 40 years and he ain't did nothing. My response to that, and this is what we should all pay attention to, don't ask us what Farrakhan should have did. Ask what you did in that same amount of time. He rebuilt the tribe that Elijah Muhammad had built with his wife Claire.
Mm.
He restored that which was torn down,
Mm.
right? Brought it back to the same equal or greater prominence,
Mm.
right? And then he was able to have the amount of respect across the land in his congregation to be able to communicate with every single gang member on the street with respect,
Mm.
right? So would you say he haven't done nothing? What the fuck has you did,
Mm.
right? You sit there, point your finger, and criticize. Accuse a motherfucker of selling out, but you ain't even stepping up. So you ain't even been tested to sell out. You gave up before the game began so you can criticize everybody else for what you didn't do.
Whew. You gave up before the game began. Ooh, okay.
So now they sitting back on the other side of the fence, away from the fight, criticizing what another person should do in their sight, but they not man enough or woman enough to step up and do it themselves.
Mm.
So what Farrakhan do? The Million Man March was sufficient enough achievement in my mind for him to have solidified his place as a prominent figure in our community.
Mm-hmm.
He had every gang there. No violence. Who else did it? The nigga that criticized ain't do it. He too busy pointing the finger.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did it? Right? On the heels of that, the sisters took it up on themselves to have a Million Woman March that was successful
Facts.
under the leadership of Minister Louis Farrakhan. So the person that's asking me, or that's accusing him of being a sellout, I'm asking you, what the fuck did you do? While we struggling for liberation, freedom, and awakening the minds of our people, you criticizing. You don't like the way I do it. You don't like the way Farrakhan do it, but you ain't man enough or woman enough to do it yourself. You ain't gonna never get free as long as you think like a slave. Follow a slave's mentality, you get a slave's reward. If you don't recognize your Stockholm syndrome by identifying with the enemy, by cutting down the people, the very people that's coming to give you a hand and lift you up, but they ain't doing nothing because they ain't doing what you think they should be doing. You don't even understand the fight you in from a spiritual aspect, and you trying to tell somebody else how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know you still a goddamn slave, and you worried about what somebody else didn't do. I'm not an Al Sharpton fan, but he did most of these finger pointing Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he did sell out, he still did more. At least he tried before he failed. You understand what I'm saying? At
With,
least
with,
he tried before he failed.
with you saying that, Rod, I see you posted Dr. Malachi York on your
Yes,
Instagram.
sir.
What's your thoughts? You know, because he's real controversial. A lot of people say he did some crazy shit.
Yeah,
I
so let's go over the crazy shit. Since we
Yeah.
dealing with the slander of the
Yeah.
leadership,
Mm-hmm.
this is why we ain't got no effective leaders, because we got too many people criticizing with no facts. So they accuse him of touching these kids. So they say they're going to link him to all of the cases through a genetically traceable strain of herpes. The problem is that Malachi don't have herpes, never had herpes, and he's been going to the doctors for an annual visit, which included a full STD span since the 70s. So he only had herpes long enough to get a herpes to these kids, and then turned around and went to prison and got rid of the herpes. Since they've been testing him in there, he still don't got herpes. Make it make sense. If you don't understand the intricacies and the details, keep your mouth shut till you get the receipt. You can't have herpes for 3 years and don't got it no more. Or you can't have it only when the victims come up, but every time you go to the doctor, it's not there. Herpes is traceable. It's traceable by genetics. They use it to confirm sexual predators on a regular basis. So this in and of itself tell you he was falsely accused, let alone all of the accusers was paid emolument by the government to sell him out. So if you don't know the intricacies of the case, then you shouldn't speak on it. We always speak on something we don't know about. That's one of the problems that's keeping us divided, conquered, and subjugated.
Mm-hmm.
Stop speaking on what you don't know about. Read the case. Read the case files. Read the rebuttal. They didn't have jurisdiction of original origin. They could have dismissed the case on jurisdiction alone, but they was determined to override the law in order to misapply the law. They had to bend the law to make it fit his case. They had to create a crime in order to accuse him of it. It's the same thing they did to Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover. They doing the crime. They accusing our leadership of the crime while they in the commission of the act. They doing it. They got caught. So they accusing them of being drug dealers. You can't get that quantity of drugs. If you're making more than a couple $1,000s, couple $100,000 selling drugs, you're working with the feds, knowingly or unknowingly. When somebody bringing tons of drugs over here and you are responsible to try to hold your community together from behind bars, the best you can do is manage it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop it because you ain't out there to put the strategies in play, and the ones out here don't have the leadership capability, or else you wouldn't need motherfuckers to be oppressed in prison to keep the effectiveness from the community. They didn't kill Fred Hampton because his skin color alone. They killed him because how he was able to communicate across the skin color barrier, the religion barrier, and his ability to unite people. They was more scared of that, right, than they was of just him because he was one of us. That leadership, you got to stop letting them kill our leaders. All they leaders is pedophiles and blood drinkers,
Mm.
and we letting they leaders tear our leaders down using the media that they control. With court systems that they using to implement martial law on the land. They don't have what you call proper jurisdiction to begin with. Everything outside DC is under tribal rule, tribal law, the law of the land, oral tradition, right? So when they imposing their written laws on us, they overstepping their jurisdiction, they overstepping their boundaries. But we so busy helping them to tear our leadership down, and then we wonder why don't nobody want to step up and help us, right? We the baddest people on the planet, so busy tearing each other down that we can't even help ourselves, right? Because we following the script that the enemy brought. Go
Mm-hmm.
back to your own culture, go back to your own ways, and then we won't be falling for the banana in the tailpipe, right? H. Rap Brown, they had charged him, gave him life or so many years for shooting the police. If you watch the trial, pull his trial up on court TV and watch that shit and tell me you can actually believe this man is guilty, right? But what we do, they got his ass. Lucky it wasn't me. We laugh at the leaders that fall, but won't none of them, the one that's doing all of the laughing, step up and do nothing about the condition. They talking about reparations. I'm telling them we got something bigger than reparations. That's pocket change. They got you focused on reparations so you won't never realize you don't need it if you get the imposters off the land. But they got us in fighting about reparations. Reparations is easy. It's a formula to get reparations. We don't match the formula is the reason we not getting reparations.
What's the formula?
First of all, you got to have a central government. See, when
Mm.
they paid the Japanese, they had a government in the nations that represented them. We don't got that
Mm-hmm.
because we surrendered it when we accepted the settlers' government as our government. You forfeit your right then.
Mm-hmm.
So you ain't gonna never get reparations because you can't even identify the correct homeland to start setting up the governmental structure with a centralized leadership that can lobby for you on the world stage because you're too busy laughing at your leaders when they fall and the
Mm.
enemy cutting them down left and right. He telling you he cutting them down. He publishing it in his books. He putting it on his news screen and you going along to get along.
Mm.
Right? So we watching the Iran-Contra scandal play out, how they deceived Ricky Ross. And so they didn't deceive him into selling drugs to get money. They deceived him to the fact that they was the feds. That's called entrapment. They ain't supposed to do that. And if it's discovered they did, that's supposed to automatically vindicate him by something called qualified immunity. So when you sitting here watching the government do all the dirt, but you letting them cut down your own leadership, you become just as much a part of the problem as the oppressor. Y'all on the same playing field, on the same side of the field now. You sold out without ever getting a dime for it because the gossip is free. So you sold out without getting nothing for your gossip, spreading your opinions that serve no ends to the resolution to the condition.
Mm.
I ain't want no parts of this shit. Because when I went to them, they all told me I didn't know nothing. So since I don't know nothing, y'all figure it out.
Mm.
And then I
You,
heard Farrakhan on the speech saying that he needs some help. Nigga, here go to help. Y'all didn't shut the door on me before. Shut it again, I won't be back. I didn't study these motherfuckers from asshole to appetite. I know exactly how they move. I know what they do. I know they don't match us. The ones that's organic to this land over here, they call America.
mm.
I don't care what they want to call us. We wasn't called none of that shit before they came. It ain't part of our culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's repugnant to the conscious mind to accept being called black, Negroes, Moors. It's repugnant to the conscious mind that's truly conscious. Before 1492, we wasn't over here talking about no Moors or no Morocco.
So you don't get with the whole Nomu Drew Ali, the whole
Noble
Moorish
Drew Ali is a
paradigm?
different story. Because he the one told me to study them motherfuckers. Because he said get a good Moorish education. But he made it clear you understand he was a Cherokee high chief on the land.
He
And
was
that
it.
he knew there was somebody on the land who don't belong here. That's then usurped the government from the people of the land.
Mm-hmm.
But in international law, it's always something called a redemption process to reclaim anything that was stolen from you at the Jubilee. This the Jubilee. We reclaiming our shit.
Mm.
Our people just got to wake up to the fact that when we say free Larry Hoover, it's because he is the spokesperson for the chiefs across the land.
Mm-hmm.
It don't got nothing to do with, okay, so they say he was a gang chief. So they had warlords as the president, despots, pedophiles, rapists, boy molesters as the president. So I'd rather have a gang chief for a leader than have all that slimy ass shit on my hands.
If he was the chief and where our culture is matriarchal, who's Big Mama overlooking Larry Hoover? Who you get what I'm saying?
Khadijah Muhammad.
Who's that? I'm not sure who that
Khadijah
is.
Muhammad is Minister Farrakhan's wife. She is indigenous to the land.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, she have the most matriarchs under her direct command as the
Mm-hmm.
MGTGCC,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then when you take the affiliation of the Moorish Women's Consulate, but she automatically becomes heir to that on the Islamic connection. So now she didn't took over all they shit by supporting her husband
Mm-hmm.
because she got the birthright to the land to draw the matriarchs together, right? And when you draw the matriarchs together, the men have to clear the way. So this is why when you hear about the Orisha, you hearing about the Ogun and the Oshun and the
Mm-hmm.
Legba. You seeing them swinging them fucking blades, the openers of the way, clearers of the path. High John the Conqueror, Low John the Conqueror. This is what they talking about. The chiefs on the land had this obligation to our women to
Right. Okay.
restore our prominence by unifying our people at the grassroots level to individually, in their own individual capacity, affirm their organic rights to the land by saying
Mm-hmm.
enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
They have to produce Hoover because his job as the law of the land is to speak for the round table of all of the chiefs across the land.
Mm-hmm.
The leadership is not the problem. They are united. They waiting on the clans to wake up, to realize we've been in a long, drawn out, protracted struggle for freedom and liberation, and now it's time for us to stand up and take it. And we tucking our tail between our legs and we pointing our fingers at everybody, but we ain't looking at ourselves, which brings us to the shadow work part of the video.
Yes. Very important. Please explain what is shadow work and how do we do it, my brother?
Shadow work is you directly addressing those negative traits and characteristics that you don't even want to accept the fact are in your character,
Mm.
right? So, um, anything that's repugnant to you and somebody else, make sure you're not the one doing it. If gossip is what you use as your tool to judge a good person, and you a gossiping motherfucker, then you ain't did your shadow work,
You projecting, you're saying you
right?
projecting. Right.
So you so busy judging everybody else, you ain't even took time to do the critical analysis of the self. The critical analysis of the self allows you the opportunity to grow from a mortal to immortal self,
Mm.
right? This is why they say they call it the dark night of the soul when you're really doing the shadow work,
Dark night of the soul.
right? Because
Mm.
you go through all of the purging of those negative traits, and you also cleaning up your family tree when you do it,
Mm. Important. Very important.
right? Because while you correcting the error in you, your good ancestors is telling the ancestor that was influencing you in that energy, sit your ass down and let the baby do his work,
Mm.
right? And sometimes they
Interesting.
got to fight up there, as
Mm.
above, so below,
You're talking about the astral
right?
realm.
Spirit
Mm.
realm,
Sure. Yeah.
right? So we still connected to them spiritually. We just not they not here physically present,
Mm.
but they influence reside in the code that's written in our DNA.
Mm.
Where our weaknesses is where we need to make the correction to get rid of the weaker ancestral trait in order to produce a higher ancestral projection into the future, right? So it's a game of a relay. Everybody get a chance to work on themselves so that they can make a better way for the generation to come. That's our job across the land.
It's a game. I love that. I love that analogy. A game of relay. Okay. Excellent, brother. Okay.
Right. So we the elders now. So they told me, get your old ass up there and tell them. I said, I don't want to tell them. They said, why you don't want to tell them? I said, because Farrakhan told him, Elijah told him, Malcolm told him,
uh,
Martin told him, all the way back to Denmark Vesey told him, Prince Hall told him, Garvey told him, and they still didn't listen. What the fuck make you think they're going to listen to me?
and what they said.
You ain't going to never know till you try.
Mm.
You don't never know till you try. If you don't like the way the world is, do something about it, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't like the world was, but I still wasn't gonna do nothing about it. I just wasn't gonna bring no progeny into this motherfucker. The side effect was I accidentally, well, it was I deliberately brought a child into this world. Now I'm obligated to change it so that my son's
Mm.
future is better than my past.
Right.
Right? So when he get to be the elder, he should not be working on racism,
That's facts.
sexism,
Yeah.
confused genders,
Yes.
right? Broken homes. That shouldn't be his job, right? So since I'm here, right? Since I offered up the solution by restoring us, telling us to just return back to our organic ways, the man they produced the chief, right? So on the 22nd, we had a cyber parade, right? And the cyber parade was designed to interfere with the algorithms to fuck up the economic system because the economic system now is down to relying on the algorithm of the advertising dollar because the markets have been strangled, right? So this is
Mhm.
why on the 23rd the market started dropping, right? All this is related.
You know, Rod, I heard you describe yourself in previous videos as I don't if I misquote you, let me know, as a Native American witch doctor.
Yep.
So could you explain to the people what exactly do you mean by Native American witch doctor? What does that entail, my brother? People are very curious about who you are.
Okay, so in the Christian world, they got preachers and reverends,
Mm-hmm.
right? I ain't no Christian.
Mm-hmm.
In the Islamic world, they have imams and sheikhs. I ain't in the Islamic world. In the Hebrews, they have rabbis and kohanes. I ain't no Hebrew. I'm an organic indigenous person to this land, and I follow the religious practice or the spiritual practice of my ancestors, which is tuning ourselves into nature in order to solve the problems of humanity by offering up the insight of the priest. The priest in the organic sense is a witch doctor or a wise doctor, right? But he's not a medical doctor that poison you with pills. He teaches you how to live in harmony with nature and use nature as your first source to cure your ails. By properly taking care of your connection with nature, it involves how you eat, how you breathe, and how you sleep, right? So when you in tune with nature, then you can have a life that's pretty much as long as you choose to be here.
Facts, definitely, definitely. All right, let's before we continue, family, I want to thank everybody. We're about at the half an hour mark. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got about 1,200 people in here. I want all of y'all, please make sure you hit the like button. Very important that we when we in here deep like this, we hit the like button and we continue to grow and more people continue to discover this information, because this information that the brother Rod Hayes is dropping is very important. It's not just what he's saying, it's how he say it. And that is vital when a person comes with this invisible energy force that we feel, but we don't know how to describe. And I think this brother's gifted with that gift right there. So yeah, make sure you hit the like button, family. I want to ask you about the date that just passed. So how important was it? Like
It
the
was the Pluto return.
yeah, for this
Right,
country. Yeah.
right. So it not only did it fall on the Pluto return fall on the 22nd, that's also was President's Day. That also was George Washington's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So all these things are it's called a convergence.
Mm-hmm.
So you imagine streams of energy coming in from different places, putting all of the pressure at a central point. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we call that an opening of a portal. Numeral is significant in numerology, it's
Mm-hmm.
significant in astrology, and then it becomes twice as significant on Earth.
Mm.
Right.
Twice that. Okay.
So this is why we chose that for the cyber parade to ride that energy to try to get as many of our people to understand that this COINTELPRO operation to shut our people down is unsuccessful. That shit not working no more. We know what they done and it's recorded and they wrote it down, right? So COINTELPRO is not a myth or a conspiracy theory. It is a government confessed operation to interrupt us, the organic people of the land who they don't want to come together in unity and stand up in their individual capacity to say, hey, tell Larry to come out here and tell us what the hell going on and who is this puppet that they
Mm.
got bouncing around talking about Joe Biden. Tell us what's really going on the land, because that's his job. Not his job because he was elected into Congress and the Senate. His job because the collection of chiefs say whenever one of our soldiers figure it out, that's the chairman. He gonna
Mm.
have to tell the story now. So when I come and tell you the story of what happened, and I tell you we were invaded by some people called conquistadors.
Mm.
They killed off the chiefs.
Mm.
The slaughter began the day after Thanksgiving.
Mm.
Thanksgiving was the day of the turkey, which was a festival, a harvest festival in honor of the chief of the local clans. The the turkey feathers, tails feathers in full spread represent the feathers around the heads of the chief,
Mm.
right? So
Mm.
they don't tell you that part. Black Friday, the result was because they gave them fire water and turkey.
Mm.
Y'all know turkey has an amino acid called tryptophan that puts you to sleep.
Mm.
Well, on Thanksgiving, after we go to grandma's house and eat, we all laying around talking and half the room sleep,
Mm.
right? We tryptophan intoxicated. They try to keep us awake with a football game.
Mm-hmm.
Important event, keep us moving around so we don't fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's all psychology, sociology applied to military strategy,
Mm.
right? The United States has never been bigger than the 10 square miles called Washington, D.C. It was always a private corporation doing business on Indian land,
Mm.
they call it. We call it Big Mama land,
Big
right?
Mama
It's the
land.
physical expression of living on Big Mama. It's the it's the all of the daughters bringing a baby to get blessed by Big Mama, the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the earth blessings is called earth rights. They villainized it and called it voodoo
Mm.
and said voodoo is evil,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we fall for that because we don't know better. When you know better, you obligated to do better,
Mm-hmm.
right? So my mama told me that, so she holding me to it, right? So what everybody else before me was asked to do, they didn't get done. I did the dirty work, the cleanup man shit.
Right, right, right.
I dived out of bounds to grab the ball before it go out of bounds, right? Slid across the baseball field to catch the pop fly that's barely about to make it,
Mm-hmm.
right? All of the stuff, the dirty work on the team that nobody, the cleanup man, with the part nobody else want to do.
Mm-hmm.
The Dennis Rodman work,
The Dennis Rodman work. Okay.
you know.
Now we understand it. The Dennis Rodman work. R- You, yeah, pardon us, family, while Rod gets his situation together. Got a little technical difficulties happening. It's all right, that happens, and we get it together as soon as we can. I want to continue to thank y'all for viewing this broadcast Saturday night. Make sure you hit the like button, family. This is so important for us to know. You can feel it in the air. You can feel it in the ether. You can feel it in your body, the fabric of your body. The change is happening. The shows that I'm doing, I know y'all feel them more than y'all have in the past. This is amazing what we're doing now, family. It's scary. It's going down right now. It's going down, family. It's going down. Here go the brother right here. Peace, peace.
Yeah.
All right, we back now. We back.
There's somebody had called in. I thought I had my do not disturb on. That's why I was trying to use the other phone.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you left off, or
The Dennis Rodman dirty work.
the dirty work? Yes.
Yeah, that's the stuff don't nobody want to do. Don't the guy that cleaned up the horse shit after the races, don't nobody give him no accolades.
Facts. Facts.
He don't get no awards, no plaques.
Facts.
He just get to go home smelling like horse shit.
Mm.
He don't complain long as it can help him take care of his wife and his kids. He show up bright and early the next morning just like he was the jockey. He might even beat them there.
Mm.
They the ones get all of the shine at the Kentucky Derby. They don't never call a stable hand out there and raise his hands and thank him for cleaning up the horse shit. But it
Mm.
still has to be done to keep a clean stable.
Mm.
Somebody got to clean up the horse shit.
Mm.
Somebody got to do the part that all the rest of us don't want to do because it's the hard part,
Mm.
right? So this is our life training. The hardest head get the hardest lesson.
Mm.
The hardest lesson become the most memorable experience.
Mm.
Once you know, you can't unknow.
Yes, sir.
To experience it for yourself, be able to relay a convincing story that's based in truth, right? So when they put a job in front of me, Larry Hoover said we gang banging. He'd be brain banging. He said we ain't gang banging. He said let the fools gang bang. We need somebody to buckle down in the books, right? We need somebody to study the problem from the outside. You can't get tatted up. You can't get GD put all on your arms and shit. You can't do that. You stay unidentified, folks. A UFO. Fly right under the radar and keep studying.
Mm.
Walk right through the valley of death, the penitentiary struggle,
Mm-hmm.
but keep studying, right? Then when you get out and you finish your parole and you working in the real job, keep studying. Use everything they use to oppress us as the means of the come up. So if I gave them an hour in work, I got me 2 hours of studying on their computer system. You understand me? They're not gonna get more of my time than I'm gonna get,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not gonna pay me enough ever to give me what I think I'm worth because they not worth what I think I'm worth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now they got Rain Man trying to solve a math problem. That's the right guy for it. Slightly autistic, a little bit quirky and weird, but he know how to do the math, right? He the one don't nobody want around because when he come in, he nut up when shit
Mm-hmm.
not right. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody is comfortable with the shit not being right. So then I'm the one ain't supposed to say nothing because I know what I'm talking about, and I might infect somebody else with some shit called the truth.
Right, right.
Now that's the most offensive thing you can tell somebody because if you tell them the truth and it's not the truth they want to hear, you become their sworn enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't done nothing wrong but told the truth. Cause now they held to they not mad that you told them the truth. They mad because the truth came from you. They
Right.
didn't get it first,
They didn't get it. Yeah.
right? But they didn't do the work to get them to the part where they can understand the problem sufficient enough to do the math. Because they was too busy accusing everybody else of not doing nothing while they wasn't doing nothing. Calling everybody hypocrites and sellouts and they don't know nothing about them. We can have an opinion about everybody we see in the public, but we don't know them people. We don't know none of them people. We ain't never met them. 98% of us ain't never met them face to face, right? They saying Larry a gangbanger. Got more degrees than anybody in motherfucking DC, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ain't none of us took the time to write him a letter to find out his point of view, his angle, his perspective, right? They told us Chief Malik Angel Bay, aka Jeff Ford, was about to commit acts of terrorism on our land, on domestic soil. They called him a domestic terrorist. And then after that, you know what these son bitches did? They
What?
blew up the World Trade Center the first time in 91 and blamed it on the Arabs.
Mm.
Then they blew up the federal building in Oklahoma
And blamed it
and
on
blamed it on the
Timothy
good old boy
McVeigh.
and Terry Nichols,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then they fucking flew planes into the building in 9/11, told us that some motherfuckers overseas done it. And then when the FBI report come out, the FBI files come out, coming to find out it was Dick Cheney and George Bush behind it the whole time. The whole time. So that they could have an excuse to kill Saddam Hussein because he put a hit on George Bush in 92. Look this shit up. It's some real shit. He put a hit out on George Herbert Walker Bush after he left office. I think it was 92, 93, right? And his retaliation, because he didn't have nothing he could do as a president of renown because he was a babbling idiot, right? We call him G Dummy,
Yeah.
right? So he want to get back at Saddam. He's trying to figure out a way to fight a war with Saddam Hussein. Okay, now he got oil interests because you know they've been in the oil business, the Prescott side of the family, since the early 1900s, late 1800s. They also international banking family, the Prescott family, right? So when you get down to the Bushes, who became Bushes under a marriage union, right? These motherfuckers turn around and finance the whole Bin Laden thing. We forget. You can look this up. The Mujahideen was funded by the CIA, and the Mujahideen was created by the CIA to defend Afghanistan's northern border from Russia.
Mm.
Right? CIA. The CIA went and extracted Saddam Hussein after assassination attempt on the Iraqi head of state He was in exile. They put him back in the royal house so that he could have my man assassinated, and he took over the government in what they call an in-house coup. And the CIA funded it and designed it all. Look it up. Ain't none of this shit a secret,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now, Ronald Reagan getting ready to take office, so they fly a plane into the Nevada desert and tell us our people got kidnapped by Iranians. We didn't find out until the 90s that that was a movie set in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
That they end up using the very same footage from the movie set to make the movie about the hostages in Iran and put that shit in our face like we some real idiots, because we some real idiots. We not gonna never pay that no attention. Ain't none of us looking at that, right? So once they make the deal, now they trying to get drugs into our community. You got to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you read Behold the Pale Horse, he'll tell you naval intelligence, above top secret, read the documents, telling you the format of the Bush family to bring the cocaine in on the oil rigs so they don't get searched. Because the oil rigs was diplomatic property and they were exempt from search,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they family is an oil family. Here we go back to the Saudi ties,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what do? They make these connections all to oppress us and keep us from ever realizing who the fuck we is.
Mm-hmm.
So they undermine our leadership. Everything they doing, they accusing our leaders of doing it. They accusing our entertainers of doing the things that they entertainers is doing, right? So that we can all look the same dirty. It's okay because it's gonna come out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some of us had to go in soldiers undercover,
Mm-hmm.
like Lawrence Fishburne on Deep Cover,
Mm-hmm.
right? In order to figure out what's going on our land. This our shit. Been our shit for millennia,
Mm-hmm.
right? Noble Drew Ali say time never was when man was not,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is he talking about? We was before they construct the time used to trap our minds. We were roaming this land before their construct of time was used to trap our minds.
What do you think about a lot of people say a lot, the ancient Egyptians was over here, and that's why we have places like
Look,
Memphis
look,
and
look,
stuff.
look,
And,
look.
and they hold up, Rod. And they even say the pyramids, the Grand Canyon, got a lot of ancient Egyptian shit in it, and that's why they closed it off to the majority of the public. But the Grand Canyon got a lot of ancient Egyptian shit, brother Rod. Talk to me about the ancient Egyptian influence on America.
There is no ancient Egyptian influence on
Mm,
America,
mm.
but there is 100% an ancient American
American influence on Egypt.
influence on Egypt.
Okay, you got to explain that, brother.
Quetzalcoatl is Thoth. Thoth created Egypt,
Yes,
period.
yes.
Quetzalcoatl is from South America,
Mm,
and Quetzalcoatl is Thoth. Thoth created Egypt.
mm.
Egypt back then was nothing more than Hollywood. That's it.
In ancient times, you say.
In ancient times, it was Hollywood, right?
Mm.
We used to leave Arizona
Yes. Mhm.
through a energy gate created by Thoth and walk straight to Egypt in 10 seconds.
The fuck out of here. Woo!
It's still there.
What, Sedona?
It's still there down in the mountains in the Arizona
Damn.
desert. You
Wow.
ain't when you start getting close, you start getting interfered with by people in black suits,
Mm.
wanting to know what the fuck you doing over there.
Damn. You said Egypt is nothing but Hollywood. And wow. Okay.
The
I haven't
real
heard.
shit, the
Yeah,
real shit was over here,
it's over here.
right?
Mm.
This is where all the real juice was. This is where Big Mama house was here.
So the juice wasn't. Africa is supposed to be Big
Look,
Mama's house.
look,
That's
the
where the
juice was
natural
over here.
resources are.
Look,
Yeah.
The juice is over here,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
They don't call this the promised land for no reason, and they don't call it God's country for no reason. That's not
Mm.
an accident, and that's not Christian,
Mm. Mm.
right? The Christians want you to believe, and the Jews and the Muslims want you to believe the Middle East is the
Yeah.
spot.
Right. 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 Right.
That's some bullshit.
Mm.
Because this was the spot before the Middle East even knew what Abraham could spell like.
Mm.
They ain't had no alphabets over there in the Middle East when this was the shit, right? They got us believing that all our castles is prisons
Mm.
because they don't want us to know we got castles all over the land.
Mm.
We got pyramids and mounds for for religious, well, spiritual retreats all over the land. You go on a spiritual retreat to tune in to nature. You create the mounds in order to harness the energy,
Yes.
right? And what you build the mound is determining what you harness the energy, and you normally form the shape of the mound, right, according to the energy you trying to harness. That's why some of them shaped like a snake,
You
some
know,
shaped like an elephant, all different kind of stuff.
I want you to expound on this because what you said was interesting. I just had a brother Turtle Gang on here who said something similar about how, you know, our culture influenced Egypt instead of Egypt influencing our culture. Um, I want to talk about Stone Mountain. Now I heard a brother that's a metaphysical teacher in the community for many years named Bobby Hemming. I don't know if you ever heard of him,
I know he is.
but yeah, brother Bobby said that the black granite from Stone Mountain, they took that black granite in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, in Stone Mountain, and they put that on a capstone of the Great Pyramids. So he was talking about how important this
Stone
land is
Mountain
over
was a
here.
pyramid.
Right. But okay, so expound on Stone Mountain. Did they take because I
Look, Stone
yeah.
Mountain was an actual black pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the movie play calls it the Dark Tower.
What movie? What movie?
Dark Tower.
That's the movie. Okay, I didn't see that movie. The movie's called Dark Tower.
Right. It's
Okay.
about a giant dark crystal shooting out the earth at the center.
Hoo-hoo-hoo. So Stone Mountain's the center of the earth? What are you saying?
It's not the center of the earth, but that's what the movie about.
Okay,
But
okay.
Stone Mountain is a black pyramid similar to that. It's also one in Alaska.
In Alaska. Okay.
So, excuse me.
Okay, no
These
problem.
pyramids all over the place. They all got different properties according to the energy you want to harness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in one thing you need gas for power, another thing you need electric for
Exactly.
power,
Yeah.
right? Some stuff you use water for power,
Mm-hmm.
right? So some things you use coal for power. You
Mm-hmm.
use different stuff. It's just like different crystals have different properties,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the
Facts.
stone that Stone Mountain is organically made of. It's formed into a actual crystalline structure. It's a
Mm-hmm.
pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the older ones because the oldest ones grow forests on them and they call them mountains.
Mm. Mm.
But after
Mm.
sitting for so long unused, they get covered with soot. The soot turns to dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Then vegetation gonna naturally spring from the dirt. It's the
Yeah.
law of nature.
Uh-huh.
This just
That's
like the Great Pyramid of China, right? You familiar with that one?
yeah, I just want to. I was able to find a picture of Stone Mountain. This is a picture of Stone Mountain right here.
It's obvious it's a pyramid. It's obvious.
Oh
And look at the
man.
surrounding layout. This is a typical of our architecture
Yeah.
because you see those river basins,
Yes.
those are moats. But
What do you?
over
What?
the time, this is what happened to the great moats. Remember, when they give you the description of the great Atlant or Atlantis, they tell you it's concentric rings to a center
Mm-hmm.
because Big Mama House is always at the center of our community,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we
Mm-hmm.
all got a Big Mama, and all of the Big Mamas get together and they choose a Big Mama out of all the Big Mamas,
Mm.
right? This is how we had the matriarchal structure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't see that's a pyramid, I feel for you. I just can't reach you right now.
Right. Facts. Facts. Facts.
Pull up Black Pyramid of Alaska.
Okay, give me 1 second. You keep talking. I'm gonna pull it up. Right.
right? So when you understand that we was here, the mission is follow the biblical code. The biblical code is a supplanter code. What is a supplanter? It's an underminer. Who is the supplanter? Jacob. Who did he supplant? Esau. What's the description of Esau? He was ruddy red and hairy. The red man is who? The red man of the Americas. The ruddy red man is dark ass red.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they put ruddy in front of it instead of just red, right? And dark red is this color, almost brown.
Is this the
See, that's the one.
mm. So this is in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up? What's the science on this right here, Rod? What's this? What's going on with this right here?
That's a, we had to stop using that one because they opened a portal Stargate. The Stargate portal was part of a 3-point flux on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It went from this pyramid system
Mm-hmm.
to La Palma to southwestern Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And in that's how the enemy was able to escape the last great cleanup to get
Mm.
wicked off of Earth. So when you read in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he said that the Dark Brothers had escaped. When he got rid of them the first time, they was able to be called back in by the priests of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
He also tell you about creating Egypt in the Emerald Tablets too.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this is known to what you call academic scientists, right? Egyptologists knew this already, right? World historians knew it already. It's a secret
Mm.
kept in the Masonic Lodge, and you ain't supposed to know, and I'm telling it
Yes, sir. How do you know, brother?
because I studied the Masonic Lodge to find out what they teach. And when I found out what they teach, I began to study how they communicate. And once I studied how they communicate, I began to be able to read their language. And
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you what they're saying in the signs and symbols because I study signs and symbols.
Mm-hmm.
All of their information is public information.
Mm-hmm.
The only secret is you ain't supposed to know you organic to the land until you wake up of your own accord.
Mm-hmm.
The first one wake up, his job is to wake everybody else up. He become the alarm clock. Well, here I am, screaming like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rod, I heard you talk about in another interview also remote viewing. Now you talked earlier about voodoo and how they called it evil. A lot of this the our ancient sciences are people consider pseudo bullshit or whatever word, verb, adjective you want to use, but they just think it's some hocus pocus shit. Could you talk to us about remote viewing? Do you use it? How effective it is? All that stuff, my brother.
I do use control remote viewing when I want to find out difficult to find out events and I need to go back and see what they were. I use the techniques that was developed by the CIA called control remote viewing.
Mm,
Made a parody in a movie called Being Men Who Stare at Goats,
mm,
right? But it's based on a true story. When they dismantled Germany, Russia got all of the kooky sciences that they call fringe sciences. America got all the technicians in Operation Paperclip. Look it up. Operation Paperclip, when they began to find out the Russians knew all of the intelligence, but they couldn't figure out how they was doing it until a KGB agent defected and told them that they were using psychic spies to spy on America. So America commissioned the military to study it and find out if it's possible to create a psychic spy. And they formulated a technique called controlled remote viewing, where you can develop the mind to see distant places, what they call bilocation in your vision, where your mind can go to a place where your body can't.
That's powerful. So, is this something that we're all naturally gifted with? Is this something we knew how to do when we was young and we forgot because of the indoctrination? Is it hard? What would you say to somebody who wants a remote view right now, controlled remote view right now?
So it's instructional videos on YouTube from the creators, but I use the manual personally as my study guide. The manual you can pick it up on Amazon for about $10
Mm,
or less if it's used.
mm,
But the thing about it is it's the same technique as tarot card reading.
mm,
It's just in tarot card you are learning more detailed tuning of the senses than you do in control remote viewing. But the benefit of learning control remote viewing is it's applicable sooner than being able to intuit the tarot cards effectively.
mm, mm. I'm going to talk to you about our music. You keep
hmm
talking about the organic people of the land. Uh, is the music? What would you consider organic music? Does it matter if it's vulgar? If it talks about pussy popping, shooting this, shooting that? What do you think is? Because maybe that might be subjective, but is hip
Our
hop?
music, no matter what our music is talking about,
Mm,
is telling us the chiefs what's going on the land.
mm,
If it's talking about pussy popping, booty shaking, if it's talking about robbing, stealing, killing, drug dealing, it's all telling. It's like a news reporter.
mm,
We can't get accurate news from the news media, but the stories that come across redundant in the rap is the grievance that's vexing the
mm,
community,
okay,
right? And those
okay,
things that come out as love stories in the song is the affection of the community.
yeah,
So
mm,
we can tell the status of relationships by the content of the love song.
yes.
So we know where the family relationships is. When we hear songs like "Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent," we
You
understand
knew what was
that,
going on at that time.
right. We know what's going on in the community is the sisters is getting frustrated to the point where if you ain't bringing something to the table, they not letting you sit down,
Right.
right? So, cause in our real culture, our women will give you all of the money if you about something.
Mhm.
But so many of them got burnt by motherfuckers that was a waste of space and taking up oxygen that real people could be breathing. They become scorned, and then they start telling the next dude, "Ain't nothing going on but the rent."
Got to have a J-O-B. If you want to play with me. I know the
That
song.
means that
It's
our
got it
man,
going
see,
on.
the
But the
woman don't
red.
really care if you got a job or not. She'll go get one.
Facts, facts,
But you
facts.
got to be willing to pick up the slack where she fall off. If she go out and work, you got to be willing to do the housework, right? Some women don't want to stay at home for raising the kids for 30 years. They want to go out and experience the world as a worker,
Mm-hmm.
right? Worker give them the opportunity to meet new friends, form new alliances, and find out what's going on with the sisters across the land. So some of them have to work. It's ingrained in them to do this investigation. So
Mm-hmm.
the guy that they pick have to be willing to understand the culture enough to know that when a woman is trying to work, she ain't just trying to go to work. She's
Mm-hmm.
trying to find out what we need to be doing in our relationship to help the land heal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Heal the people on the land. We more concerned about our people than we are about ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because the plight of our people is going to be the overall plight of our children,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we could care about the future, we have to protect the future by protecting the children, right? Because when we get done raising the children, guess what they go own? The future.
Mm-hmm.
So we own the now. As the adults and as the elders, we own the now. That's our job. But what we gonna do with it in order for it to be a benefit for our children so that the future they shouldn't have to solve the same stupid problems that we working with that our parents didn't solve. right? So they got us fighting for civil rights. Civil rights is fighting to be a part of a corporation as a civil servant.
Mm.
As a civil servant, you become a trustee in a slave camp,
Mm. Mm.
right? But we didn't know it. That's why Martin came out when Elijah told him what was going on, because he didn't know, right? So when Elijah came out and told him what was going on, he told us, I think I might, or he told Harry Belafonte, I think I might have integrated my people into a burning house.
Mm.
What is he talking about? The Fall of America. Elijah Muhammad wrote a book called
Mm.
The Fall of America,
Mm.
right? So all of these things become relevant. When you listen to him explaining and vexing his grievance on the NBC interview, he tell the whole story, how they displaced us from the land, mechanized the land, picked people who didn't look like us to replace us as the owners of the land.
Mm.
But the part he didn't know is the niggas that owned the big house wasn't us, but they looked like us. And they used those people that they called a slave master to hide as the house nigga. And that's why our people don't like house niggas.
If they was not us, who were they?
They were conquistadors, blackamoors.
The Moors. The Moors was the sellouts then.
No, they not sellouts.
They were just
You gotta
slave.
understand,
I'm
they the
trying to. Yeah,
attackers.
the
It's a chess
attackers.
game.
Okay.
So this is why they always tell you that black and white are classifications.
Mm. 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 Mm.
If you don't understand the classification, you can't unravel the deception,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
as long as you identifying and using the paperwork of your enemy to try to write your way into the law as a legitimate person, proves you an imbecile in law, which means you have no right to your inheritance of the land.
Mm.
But when the gig is up, is when you realize that they use a nation as a corporation. All nations is governed under Uniform Commercial Code. Uniform Commercial Code governs all international trade. They've been trading our labor under the false pretense of giving us jobs. They gave us monopoly money called fiat,
Mm.
right? To replace the gold that they not allowed to use, but they can keep us from using it too.
Why they not allowed to use it?
Because it ain't
Mm.
theirs. They have no birthright to it.
They got it all under the World Trade Center.
Under
Right.
under the White House, all kind of
Yeah.
places. They got them in tunnels everywhere,
Uh-huh.
right? So those are what they call the royal coffers.
Mm.
Every land had royal coffers. Europe had their own. The Moors looted it,
Mm.
but they created something called a Khazarian Jew,
Mm.
which was actually bankers from the high mountains of Prussia.
Mm.
So now you
Okay.
wonder, now you seeing what's going on over there in Russia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm.
war against the Khazarian mafia.
You connecting dots right now, brother. God damn, you connected some dots. Okay, be careful. Go ahead, talk.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
now Biden
Yeah.
was on the news
Yes.
and he said that Putin claimed he was
Mm-hmm.
going into um, the Ukraine because they were developing weapons of mass destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What did he bomb? He bombed Pfizer office labs over there. He bombed Johnson & Johnson labs over there. Who make the vaccine?
Facts. Yeah.
Right? So who he trying to protect? Who he trying to get rid of? Right? Now he said he was trying to get rid of the cabal. Who was Trump trying to get rid of? What he
Mm.
called them?
Mm.
The cabal, right?
Mm.
In the cabal, he also called the deep state.
Mm.
Because the deep state is those ones who had their real meeting places deep underground in bunkers.
Mm.
That's so that me and you don't know what they talking about
Mm. Mm.
unless we know control remote viewing.
Mm.
Then we the fly on the wall, Miley Cyrus,
Mm.
right? And as the fly on the wall, we get enough information to come through like a wrecking ball.
Mm. Talk to
right?
him. Talk to him.
So even the ones that don't look like us know the code,
Mm-hmm.
right? Listen to what she's saying in Fly on the Wall. She's trying to listen in on the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how do you listen in on you become the fly on the wall? How do you do that? Control remote viewing, right? Once you learn control remote viewing, you can actually go look for yourself. I went looking for Jesus and I couldn't find him.
Come on, brother. Don't say that. Don't say that,
But I can
brother.
tell you who I did
Who
find.
you found? Who you found?
I found Cleopatra. Ask these ask these
And
people where her tomb at.
I'm not even joking. What did she? What happened when you found her? I'm not. I'm very.
She was running for her life, is what happened. They told you she committed suicide
Mm,
with an adder.
mm,
Don't know. They didn't do that back then.
mm,
That's not how they killed themselves.
mm.
Just like that model that they said jumped out
Jumped
that
off the
building.
building. Yeah,
That's not how women commit suicide.
that's a man. Yeah, yeah.
That's out of context. They're
Mm.
telling us, chiefs on the land, look at the situation. It ain't what they telling you. It doesn't match. And what Johnny Cochran say about the glove with OJ?
If it don't fit, you must equip.
Right. So
Technically,
if the story don't fit the narrative
acquit.
they giving,
Acquit. I'm sorry.
if the story not fitting the narrative they giving, right? Now we know from experience, we can look this shit up. There was a genius they decided to throw out of a building of a mental institution to say he was insane, right? Because he was revealing top secret information that they didn't know how he got, right? But the problem is they couldn't explain how he unscrewed the gate that covered up the window
Mm,
on the inside and the outside while he was handcuffed. It
mm,
didn't make sense.
mm,
So the people that questioned it, they called them quacks and conspiracy theorists.
mm,
The same thing they did with Charles Manson for telling us that they sent him out to start a race war.
mm,
But we
mm.
so busy listening to the race
To
war
the
part,
media.
we ain't
Yeah,
understanding that he giving us a warning.
yeah.
He telling us all the dirt they told him about poisoning the water with fluoride,
Mm,
cutting down the trees so we can't hardly breathe, but we think we breathing normal, but they cutting them down so fast that we have to adapt to breathing on less oxygen, which deprives the brain of breath.
mm,
And breath is spirit.
mm-hmm.
So if you deprive somebody of spirit, you're depriving them of life. This is all orchestrated. So then they set the man up, accused him of some murders that he ain't had nothing to do with. They said they knew what Charlie wanted, but he never gave him the order. Make that shit make sense.
Mm,
But none of us can pay attention enough to the details because we're looking at the overall description that the media paint. The media is a disinformation specialist.
specialist. Specialist.
How you think a man get off with the Twinkie defense? The narrative the media painted is what got him off. Not that he ate a Twinkie and killed motherfuckers in front of the courthouse. That didn't get him off.
Mm.
The media narrative is what got him off.
The media narrative.
It's
Yes.
the same with the boy walking down the street shooting motherfuckers. As soon as they called the people looters, he beat the case.
Mm,
He became the only competent law enforcement agent on site for a citizen's arrest. In the minds of the people that's the oppressor control.
mm.
When they called the people that got shot looters,
Looters.
it's the
That's.
same as saying criminals, it's the same as saying attackers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They said it was a mob, which told him that it was a whole bunch of them. He automatically have to defend himself.
mm-hmm,
In any property, they tend to be trying to so-called loot.
mm-hmm,
So whether he was right or wrong became inconsequential to the media onslaught of the disinformation campaign.
mm-hmm,
When they get away with saying certain things in the media, you done,
mm-hmm.
right? Because the people following a well-written narrative, like they following the storyline on the movie, they probably can follow the storyline on the movie better.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline in real life is showing you what they doing in your face.
Mm,
But it makes it into a parody that you can never believe because they attach terms like conspiracy, conspiracy theorists, quack, fringe information, you know. And
mm,
then they say that the information ain't true, but they have the documents in their hands while they saying it,
facts.
you know.
Hey, Rod, I want to take this time to we're getting ready to get to the Q&A from the people.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
this whole show has been complete fire so far. I want to thank you for your time. It's one thing that people keep asking for, Rod, and this is the beautiful part about our people. We criticize our people a lot, but what's beautiful about them is that they're willing to support those who support them. So they're asking for your cash app, brother. I want to put your cash app on the screen, and because you're on my show, and because my people support, I got a great audience. You're gonna be blessed, brother. What's your cash app?
I'm typing it now.
Yeah, make sure you support this brother Rod Hayes out there putting in the work.
You see
You
it?
know,
I sent it to you in the private chat so you
let
can
me see.
copy it.
Let me see. Okay, give me a second, family. I wanna put this brother's cash app up. I'm about to share mine. I'm gonna put his as well. I don't make sure. All right. All right, family. So I got the brother Rod Hayes Cash App. Before we get to Q&A, you know how we do on the show. Got the brother Rod Hayes Cash App. I got my Cash App, man. Make sure you support the individuals who support y'all. I mean, this information that the brothers dropping, the pyramids that we just showed for this Alaska. We went to Stone Mountain. We talked, man, listen, if you ain't got goosebumps after watching this show so far, I don't know what to tell you. But this is it right here. This is what we supposed to be giving our energy to. So with that being said, family, make sure
Yeah.
you hit the like button. That's important. And give me some good questions in the chat room. We're gonna get it. We've been on here for about an hour and 20 minutes. We're gonna get to about 20, 25 minutes of Q&A. I ain't gonna keep the brother on here too long, but we're gonna get into about 20 minutes of Q&A. But make sure you support my guests. Make sure you support me for putting this together, being a mastermind. Make sure you support my guests for
Now
bringing that work. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I had to say this as a witch doctor, we don't solicit donations.
You want me to take it off? Or
Mm-mm. But if somebody asks,
okay,
then they allowed to donate.
they certainly asked, brother. They
But right,
hey,
so I just gotta make that clear because
okay,
I don't never charge nothing. Like on my platforms, when I do lives, they can listen to me for free,
okay,
or if sometimes they ask for the cash app. I'm
mm,
obligated to give it to them, and this is the reason why. Reciprocity is the reason.
okay,
Gratitude offerings facilitates the reciprocity. It creates an energy circuit. If I tell them no when they offer, it's blocking their blessings, not mine.
mm. Look, that's interesting. That's
So I had to
interesting.
accept it because me accepting it with the gratitude that they gave it, it's an equal exchange,
Mm,
right? And
mm,
it's facilitated on the return to them by increments of 10, right? So this is what they be talking about in the church, but they be soliciting donations, which nullifies the effect to the giver.
mm,
And
mm.
all of the benefit end up in the hands of the asker.
Instead of the giver, who
Right.
wants to give, you're
So
blocking
that's
it.
that's why you have to do it this way. That's why I
That,
don't you
that's
don't come in, boom, here's my cash app.
mm,
It's because you have to offer something that the people feel you should be compensated for because nobody else is offering this for free.
mm,
And they
indeed.
do it out of the goodness of their
But they
heart. That's
are.
that's their obligation to themselves, not to me.
Mm.
Right. So
They
that way
uh,
they don't
uh, uh,
feel beholden to give. They do it of their own free will,
they
right? Because they
they
want to do it.
they gonna support you on their own free. I hear your phone, brother. I
That was
hear
my
you.
phone, that
Oh,
was yours.
okay. Let's get to some questions. I got
Yeah.
somebody said, what does he think about Mount Shasta in Cali? What you think, my brother?
It's a powerful energy vortex. It's on a ley line and it's on a ritual site of the old ancients.
Mm.
So Mount Shasta is a good place to visit, and it's make sure you drink plenty of water out there too. But around the equinoxes, spring, summer, winter, and fall, the energy is highest because that's when they held the festivals in ancient times to draw the energy there. So it's been done for so long. In ancient times, the energy still comes through. When the people come through, they interact with the energy, and that keeps the energy coming through.
Mm,
Right. So it's a perpetual cycle of energy based on ancient ceremonial practice on that land.
mm,
That's not the only one around. They got them all up and down the Mississippi. Those that's named after the cities of Egypt, or the cities of Egypt is named after, have mounds in the near proximity where rituals was held at different times of the year. And you get with the natives and they know the land, they know when the rituals was held. They'll naturally congregate there around that time of the year.
mm,
It's
mm,
like Mardi Gras,
mm,
right? Mardi Gras is an ancient festival. You try to take Mardi Gras away from New Orleans, and we gonna tear this bitch up.
mm,
You can take all of the cultural aspects you think you taking. If you take Mardi Gras, the NO will tear this place down. They tried it already, and they seen what happened.
mm.
It's a part of the culture that the people of New Orleans will not. They not giving it up, because that tells us so much information in the Mardi Gras festival. When one of the chiefs go to Mardi Gras, they get a whole report off the parade.
Mm. Let's get to the next question. Any information on people who helped them steal our magic? People like Benjamin Banneker, built in Washington, D.C., and Pascal Beverly Randolph, who taught them occult magic. What side were they on?
So the only way you can tell what side was they on is by what they put in the public domain,
Mm,
right? If what they put in the public domain is not legible, right, or is so minuscule that you can't put their motives together, they wasn't working for us.
okay. Let's get to the next question. Once again, family, I got the Brothers Cash App on the screen. If you are interested, let's get to the next.
That's not accurate.
That's the dollar sign SIKAPE. No?
The S and the A has to be capital.
Okay. I don't. All right.
So it's dollar sign capital S I K capital A P E. Are you doing that? Can you pin the next question up?
Yeah. What's next for melanated people?
Organize our grassroots level, and the sky is ain't no limit. Melanated people can and always have been able to do whatever they choose to when they support one another. That's right, right there.
Okay. Let's get to the next question. Okay. Do you know of any pyramids or sacred places in Arkansas?
Arkansas is Cherokee territory. Um, I don't remember the exact location, but I know there's mounds in Arkansas.
Mhm.
In various places too.
Okay, let's get to the next question. What's Rod's insight? This is Keelan 44. Shout out that brother. He's been on the show before. What's your thoughts on nuclear fission? Fusion. I'm sorry,
Fusion.
fusion. Yes, I'm sorry.
Right. So now we talking about splitting atoms. And the nuclear fusion is the core of two the nucleus of two atoms become merged. But the side effect of that is in order to rebalance is going to cause a reaction, a chain reaction. Right? It's the same with the fission. The splitting of the atom
Mhm.
causes the particles to split other atoms. Right? So the fission is going to become like a magnet to attract and cluster other atoms.
Mhm. Okay. Let's get to the next. Uh, Why does the fam from the Caribbean fit into the narrative of Native American? What do you suggest those who traded in their nationality to become American citizens do to claim their land?
Okay, so in order to become an American citizen, you had to accept your straw man. So you have to go back to your family, have a family reunion, and rename everybody with no birth certificate, right? And you
Mm.
give them the name. Your nickname is you using the customs of the land to develop a natural name,
Your
right?
nickname.
Your nickname,
Mm.
right? That's how you end up with. You think Sitting Bull real name was Sitting Bull? His real name is Christopher Wallace,
Mm. I didn't know
right?
that. Christopher
So,
Wallace.
well, we call him Sitting Bull
Yes.
because he was sitting down on the job when they came and he supposed to kept them out,
Mm.
right? So we called him Sitting Bull. He was being lazy. He didn't
Mm.
believe the scouts when they told him, and he
Mm.
got sacked, right?
Mm.
Just like Crazy Horse, you know who that is?
Mm. Mm.
ODB.
Mm. Mm.
That's why he had to play the Hyoka, the sacred clown, perform the sacred clown dance and tell the truth in the public domain where they can't do nothing to you because they gonna have you classified as crazy and mentally deranged.
Mm.
So who he say was trying to kill him? He said Bush and them niggas.
Mm.
Who? What is he talking about? The deep state, the Illuminati.
Mm.
George Herbert Walker Bush was the leader of this part of the country, a world for the Illuminati,
Mm.
right? So he was the highest ranking member. How do I know this? Because, and if you read Behold a Pale Horse, he gave the exact defense bill that he made himself King George the First of the United States, and no other king, no other president can act without his permission.
Mm.
That means that everybody that came after him until his ass was dead was a puppet.
Mm. Mm.
Now, who came after him? His adopted son, Bill Clinton,
Mm.
right? His real son, G Dummy,
Mm.
right? And his adopted or his godson, Barry, right? Y'all ain't even know he had a Bush connection, did you?
Obama, you mean Obama?
Yep.
Yeah.
Barry Del Sotoro. That's
Mm.
his name. That's his name. Barack Obama is his stage name, his front name, in order to get the so-called Negro vote.
Mm.
See, if he can get most of the Negro vote, he can sway the vote because he can get the uptown vote if he's approved by specific people in the Democratic Party. Hillary
Mm.
Clinton, Bill
Mm.
Clinton, they work for the Bushes too.
Let's get to the next question. What is the significance of the number 19? I guess this is important. We talked about Dr. Malachi York earlier, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe he's the one that said we are from the 19th galaxy, which is totally out there for most of our people. So talk about the significance of the number 19, my brother.
So that's coming through numerology, specifically through Babylonian numerology, coming through Islam. 19 is the sacred seal. The sacred seal is called that because it's the alpha, is the one, and the omega is the birth process, the end of the birth. It's 9 months. So you got alpha meets omega at 19. So you seal it with the beginning and the end,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then if you add 1 plus 9, you end up with 10. That's the alpha going back to the beginning, right? So it doesn't matter how you flip the number. Once you understand why it represent what it represent, you still gonna see what it say,
Mm-hmm.
right? Numerically, 0 is first, 9 is last,
Mm-hmm.
right? We talking about what they call uh, a decinumeral system, a 10-point numeral system. 0 is first because it's a placeholder for nothing. That means wherever 0 at, don't nothing go there. From there, you end up at 1 when you get the first one. So numerically, you counting from 1 to 9. But we didn't count from 1 to 9. We counted from 9 to 1. because we read from right to left, not left to right,
Mm.
right? So when they flipped us left to right, I mean right to left, from left to right, they flipped the one in front of the nine instead of the nine in front of the one, right? But the 91 is the year of the first attack on the World Trade Center. Remember, blow up like the World Trade,
Mm.
right? So it also tells the secrets of what's happening at the end, right? So it all become relative. That's why you come with 9/11. 9/11 can be scrambled into a 191 anagram. One being on both sides of the nine represents the beginning meets the end through destruction,
Mm.
right? So that's what they was giving us. They had to give us 3 knocks in 5 year increments roughly to let us know they was coming to take over the world. And then we got to stop them.
Mm.
So George Bush had his Arab connections. We know he was connected to the Bin Ladens because they helped all of the Bin Laden family leave America directly on the same day as 9/11, and they was the only planes allowed to leave.
Mm.
So they had to be protected by the Bush family, right? So we know that the one of the Bin Ladens died leaving the Bush farm in Texas. This is recorded, right? So that show proves also the Arab connection to the Bin Laden family, right? And the Bin Laden family is the construction or the Masonic family of um, the Middle East because they was getting all of the royal contracts to build the palaces,
Mm.
right? They didn't start building palaces in the Middle East until 1933 when they discovered that it was massive amounts of oil in Saudi,
Mm.
right? Nation of Islam started in 1933,
Mm.
right? So now we're talking about 1933 and the three is six, right? So that's the other end of the 191 on the turnaround,
Mm.
right? So it all becomes relative depending on the angle you look at the problem. Most people look at the surface of the problem and never look at the intricacies and the workings of the problem in order to establish a solution.
Mm.
The only solution is for us is to stand up in our individual capacity, demand the chiefs come tell us where these imposters at on the land and have y'all got them out yet. That's what we need to know.
Mm. Let's get to the next question. When and how will the Caucasians leave this planet to get balance?
The Caucasians is not the problem. The problem is the ones that look like us, that ain't from here. They the problem. They know who they is and they know they leaving. They tell you all the time they ain't staying here. When you listen to their lives and they talking about leaving here, that's because they was part of the problem and that's why they can't stay. It was all skin colors of people in the families of the earth tribes, all hair textures. So that ain't nothing new to us. What's new to us is to use those physical descriptions as tools of division. That's new to us. So that answer.
Yeah, pardon my mic. Sometimes I get a little short in this mic. Let's get to the next question. Somebody asked, I don't see the question now, and this is one of the questions I want to ask you earlier. So let me just ask this now because I see somebody remind me of it. Your thoughts on the blue star Kachina? Talk to me because I seen you posted that in your Instagram. What's the science on that? What's going on with the blue star Kachina?
Well, there's an ancient Hopi prophecy about the red star Kachina and the blue star Kachina um, returning at the close of the age to usher in the new world for the rainbow children and the children of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So the they are just symbols to match the stellar clock, what's going on in time.
Mm-hmm.
They also made Kachina dolls that tell the story of what takes place at that time. So this say two stars rise up, a red one and a blue one, and these are the Kachinas.
All right, all right, let's get to the next question. We're gonna take about three more questions, then we're gonna get out of here, family. I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. We got about 1,800 people in here. I'm with brother Rod Hayes, and he's dropping jewels. It's been a magnificent broadcast. Let's see. Where will we stand? Someone asked, "What's the difference between a shaman and a heyoka?" Yeah.
Okay, so a Hyoka is a extreme empath, and he normally a shaman interact more with the community than the Hyoka. When you see the movies and they go out into the wilderness to meet an old man that live in the house by itself in the middle of nowhere, he would be a Hyoka, but he can also be a shaman, right? And but when you're in the village and you have the medicine man of the village, he is the shaman of the village. When he gets stuck on the problem, he go to the Hyoka for assistance in the problem. In the Christian religion, they will be called Melchizedek priests.
Mhm. Indeed. Uh, Rod mentioned the stock market fall. What role does cryptocurrency play in the plan, if any? Is cryptocurrency good or bad for us?
Right now, with until this old system is done with, I do not advocate for any kind of currency, um, because I don't. It's hard to see the ones that's for us and the one that they trying to create to undermine us to stay in power. So I don't put a stamp of approval on any of their currencies until we can see it on the outcome what they are. I don't trust none of them.
Mhm. Okay. What's the connection between humans and water?
It's the same connection as a mother to a child. The water is a symbol for spirit. The human brain is over 70% water. The human body is over like 70% water. So the connection is an indispensable connection between humans and water. Water is also the natural antifreeze of the body. That's why even in cold climates, you got to stay hydrated to stay warm, right? But in this hot climates, you got to stay hydrated so that you can stay cool. And the perspiration is the water being flushed through the system, right? And the water flushes the toxins out of the system. So water is very critical to the survival of the human as a creature.
Indeed. Alchemy Goddess wants to know, what is a diamond baby? I haven't been able to find a lot of information on that.
So study under crystal child and look for a blue crystal child would be synonymous with what they would call a diamond baby. They're just coming from the frequency of which one of the star seeds or indigos they are, right? So you hear them say the ruby child, sapphire. They talking about the colors on the rainbow that they energy represent, right? And one of the colors on the rainbow is a pale blue, which is the color of the diamond, represented as the color of the diamond in ancient writing, which is also the color of several other stones, but the diamond being the preeminent stone, clear stone, holds the position and the highest position of that color, right? So
Mm.
this is what the so when you're looking for information on the diamond baby, you look for the information under the indigo child and you look under the blue indigo and you will match the energy up.
We're gonna take one more question, my brother. Is that cool?
Hmm.
All right. Is symbolism more important than speech?
It depends on the learning style of an individual because some people learn auditory and some learn visual. A person that learns visual symbolism can be more important than speech. But a person that learns an audio, the speech will be able to explain the symbol and help them to understand it even better. Right. So they become it's based on your learning style more so than a blanket yes or no.
Okay, okay. I think that's about it, family. I think that's the last question we gonna take. Oh man, let me fix my hat. Such a great show, my brother. I'm like I'm sitting back. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm listening. Wow, man. I mean, I look forward to you being a regular on here, my brother. I look forward to
I
you being
told
a
you
regular.
whenever you need me, man. I appreciate you helping us get the word out so we can get our people to understand we ain't come on no ships.
Mm-hmm.
We not black.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't white.
Mm-hmm.
We not a crayon,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
organic to the land. We was
Mm-hmm.
already here before anybody named Christopher Columbus came snooping around to see how to take over our people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If we return back to our original oral tradition, we can chant down Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
And the battle cry is free Larry Hoover for all those that understand the concept.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you ain't saying that, either you don't understand or you're not part of us. Because you got some people that's from Africa over here that blended in with us that's not our enemy. But they ain't our allies either because they want to carry on the narrative that the slave master gave us that we came from Africa. So I just asked them to just stay out of the way till we done cleaning this shit up. And then they'll know that we ain't had no hard feelings against them because they got invaded and colonized just like us.
Mm-hmm.
We just realized that they ain't us and we ain't them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not personal, it's just family business. And the family business right now is to restore the matriarchy, demand the three kings, and protect the children. That's family business. It's not personal. And anybody that can't vibe with that ain't part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are the main sticking points or glue points that bind us all together. Mama, the babies, and the future.
Mama, the babies in the future. Yes, sir.
Right? Because in our community, we don't talk back to our mama, not because we don't know how, right?
Yeah.
That's just not our tradition and our
It's,
customs.
it's not our
And
style.
when
Right.
we and when we see little Bobby and them do that shit, we be
We be like,
shocked,
what the fuck? We be like, what they doing?
right?
Yeah.
That's not our culture,
Yeah.
but it's their culture, right? That same child would turn up, grow up, and will bust your ass about talking reckless to his mama, but he talked reckless to her all his childhood.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
right.
when he become an adult, he don't talk reckless to her no more.
Mm-hmm.
Only by being around them would you ever see that part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The way that they rear children is not the same as how we rear children.
Mm-hmm.
We rear our children to survive the most hostile of life conditions.
Mm-hmm.
It's called oppression,
Mm-hmm.
subjugation,
Mm-hmm.
infiltrated and subverted,
Mm-hmm.
right? We got to get out of it
Mm-hmm.
so that we can get our children out of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is where we figure out the banana in the tailpipe is every divisive tool they could find,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because at one time, all of the nations of the earth spoke one language until somebody named Yahweh divided up the languages.
Yahweh.
And they say that the devil's means of control is divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
So if Yahweh divided up the language to divide up the people to stop them from coming to heaven, who the hell is he really?
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh in the Sumerian tablets is called Enlil,
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the sky,
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the booming voice, right? And he's the one that say he's a jealous guy. Well, we don't deal in jealousy because that's a contagious, toxic behavior that's passed on and taught. It's not natural to us.
Mm-hmm.
When you see us behaving out of jealousy, is because we trying to act like our oppressors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not part of our culture. I don't care if you got more than me, as long as you respect me like I respect you. I don't care if you got less than me, as long as you respect me like I respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So while we was worrying about respecting each other, they was worrying about getting more than we got.
Mm-hmm.
But when they found out they can't have what we got because we not buying it, now they fighting for their life.
Mm-hmm.
Literally on earth because they won't be here. I don't know where they going, but they can't stay here.
Why they
Right?
can't stay here?
No, they can't stay here. They didn't cause too many problems already.
Mm.
So wherever they go, they just can't stay here.
Mm.
And they'll tell you they leaving. They know they leaving. They feel it in their soul. The
Mm.
same way the ones of us that's from organic to the land know we ain't going nowhere.
Mm.
We not worried about your hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, because wherever they affect is where the dirt going down. And if some of us got to get caught up in the cleanup, oh well, mama had to do it that way because she had
Mm.
to get the cancer out.
Mm.
Right? That's how we look at it. They look at it like, oh no, we got to stop the tornado with a bomb.
Phew.
Because you know they do have a bomb designed to stop tornadoes.
I've heard about it.
Right? We ain't paying attention because it's tornadoes in November.
Mm.
Way past tornado season,
Mm.
you got tornadoes and they marching in mass together in a three-man formation. That's Mother Nature demanding that we see the three kings walking on the land because she needs to fill the big mama seat to bring the balance back to earth.
Mm. Mm.
So once the big mama seat get filled, then all of the matriarchs get their post
Mm.
across the land,
Mm.
right? In the meantime, you got the chiefs have to open the way. That's our job. And all of the chiefs not men. It's probably more female chiefs on the land than it is males.
Mm.
An example, if you could pull her up, Chief Warhorse is her name.
Let me see.
She a real chief with the real blood tied to the land that know her history, right? She come from a long family of chiefs. And all of them wasn't men and all of them wasn't women.
Okay, I think I got it. Let me share this. I think I got it. Um, Give me a second, family. This her right here?
That's her.
Okay. So who's this now? Please explain. Now that we got a
That's Chief.
picture.
Her name is Chief Warhorse,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can pull her up on YouTube explaining what happened to her people in the Trail of Tears and how they got separated from them $5 Indians that they used the Trail of Tears to switch us out.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't know that, did you?
No, I've heard about the. Yeah, I just did a show recently about dealing with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So during the Trail of Tears is where they switched us out. The problem is in order for the $5 Indians to learn our culture, they had to put a woman with them, one of the elder priestesses, to teach them the traditions and the customs.
Mm.
So now they know all our shit, and now they got to give it back.
Mm.
It ain't personal; it's just family business. Big Mama told them that when my babies come, y'all give it back.
Mm.
They agreed, right? All of the treaties was made with $5 Indians. It wasn't made with us.
Mm.
There is no um, record of a treaty with Choctaw. There's no record of Seminole treaties. There is no record of Hopi treaties.
Mm.
All of the treaties is the clans that was the biggest clans, the easiest to usurp, because it was so many of us of so many differing looks.
Mm.
That's why they call it the Great Melding Pot when they got here,
Mm.
because we had all skin colors and we all lived peaceful.
Mm.
Now all of a sudden, here come these motherfuckers, and then now we don't live peaceful no more, and
Mm.
we oppress, and we don't have access to Big Mama's money,
Mm.
right? So this is where we at.
Mm.
So the unity in the community is the key to freedom. The battle cry is free Larry Hoover. With that comes all of the other chiefs in the land that's held behind bars, political prisoners we call them, right? All of the ones whose land they usurped, they have to give it back now
Mm.
because it's tribal land. And under the Indigenous Rights Act of 2017, they agreed. They already said they was gonna give it back, and also Washington and D.C. is closed. It's been closed for 2 years. Ask the people in DC what's going on. Don't believe me, check it out, as Malachi York would say.
Mm.
Don't believe me, check it out. DC closed. Joe Biden is a skit. It's a comedy show played in the public pantomime, right? Almost all of this shit we seeing on TV right now is pushing a narrative that does not exist. All to distract us from the Free Larry Hoover movement of the indigenous people of the land and restore the tribes back to their prominence. Right? So that's where we at as a people, and this is what we have to do. The easiest way to get us free is for us all to say the same thing at the same time in agreement. The more of us do it, the faster it happens.
Mm.
Most of us aren't educated to the matter. So then you share the information, you study the information and check it out, validate it for yourself, and then you explain it because you can only explain it from your level of understanding.
Mm.
My level just happened to be a little different because I had a lot more study time.
Mm. Hey, brother Rod Hayes, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You lit it up. You lit
I
it up
appreciate you
tonight.
having me, man.
Yeah, man, you lit it up tonight. Wow. I mean, the people are thoroughly appreciative for what you brought to the table tonight, my brother.
It
Uh,
was a sister I seen on here a couple days ago
mm.
talking about Big Mama.
Sister Myra. That's Sister Myra.
Right. Send her a shout out for me.
Okay, yeah, I would tell her. I would tell her. What you thought about that show? You liked it?
Oh yeah, she's talking about Big Mama. I know
Yeah,
what she's talking about. We
yeah.
speak the same language. I
Same language.
understand what she's telling me.
I'm gonna continue that narrative for forever and from now on. Big Mama. I'm gonna continue that Big Mama cosmic energy. This is my job to continue to carry on that narrative of Big Mama. So yeah, anybody talking about Big Mama, they welcome to my show as long as it comes from a pure intent. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
thank you. I want to thank Sister Myra. Any contact information you want to leave the people with before you get out of here, my brother? Because yeah.
The easiest way to find me right now is on Instagram. I got 2 pages. One I post Rod Hayes,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't let me do lives on that one, so I have to do my lives on Morpheus Megas, which is pinned to the top of the Rod Hayes page.
Okay.
Yep. So it's Rod.Hayes.75.
Rod.Hayes.75
Yep.
on Instagram.
Yep.
Okay, cool. You heard that. Rod.Hayes.75 on Instagram. I know a lot of y'all gonna look for the brother. The brother got awesome information on Instagram. I look forward to having you on probably once a month, my brother.
I'm
So
here.
I'm gonna holler at you again next month. You know what I'm saying? Get an update. This is Brother Rich, Brother Rod Hayes, Family Black Magic 363. Make sure you hit the like button, even if it's the end of the show. Just hit the like button before you leave the show. But thank you for tuning in, family. I appreciate all the love and support. We out of here, family. Peace.
Peace.